You want to start by taking the pot out of its container, and that means laying it down and squeezing and just gently pulling the plant out of its pot. And you can see that this plant has a lot of roots that have wrapped themselves around the container itself. Now, some of this dirt is starting to fall off, which will make your life a lot simpler. But you don't want to tear it because you want to preserve these roots as much as possible. So whatever comes off with just the most gentle suggestion is how you want to start with this. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to put this in a bath of water so that the dirt starts to fall away from the roots. And this soil is very loose, so I'm very fortunate. This may not be the case when you have to take something out of a pot. At this point, I am going to take this and I'm going to put it in a tub of water. Please do not run this under the sink and let the dirt go down the drain. It doesn't matter whether you live in an apartment or if you live in a house. You don't want to put dirt into the drain of the house plumbing system. What I've done is I've dropped this plant into a basin of water. And the whole idea here is to get the water to loosen up the roots. And you just gently touch them with your hands and encourage them to separate. And this will take a little bit of time, but you can see we're already starting to get some dirt into the water. This particular plant is fairly easy to separate the roots. They're being very cooperative. I've had some that just take forever. And basically what you have to do is just wait for them to loosen up and then gently start pulling them apart. And you can see what a great root system this bunch of tulips has. So we're just going to gently move the dirt out of the 3 plants. Please, again, do not throw this water down the sink. Do not throw it in the toilet. Take it outside and dump it on the ground. Even in the city, you're better off if there's a planter in your neighborhood or a tree that has some dirt around it, is to dump it there rather than putting it into the sink, because your landlord and any plumber that you hire is going to charge you a ton of money to clean this all out. You can see how it's really separating, and you've got to be a little careful that the plant doesn't break away from the roots as it becomes a little wobbly. You can see that that's happening here. These roots are really twisted around one another because they've been contained in this pot. So you really need to shake them loose so that they separate from one another without tearing them too much. Again, I'm trying to support the plant itself. Just keep shaking them in the water and gently getting them to disengage. So now we have one that has all its roots as much as possible. The next thing you're going to do here is you're going to submerge this plant so you can see how these roots grow in a glass jar. That will be our next step. Now, once you've emptied out your container, don't throw the residuals down the sink either. Wipe this out with a paper towel to get most of the dirt out of this container to protect your plumbing system. This is my recommendation to get this container clean. Now what you need in order to do this part of drawing the roots is you need a glass container. This one is about 6 inches, 5 inches in diameter, about 8 inches tall, and it's clear glass so that when you put the roots in there, they will float and behave the way they would if they were in the ground. We have to secure these so that it doesn't drop to the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to take our cone that we made and we're going to drop the roots into the cone so that the bulb sits on top of the cone and the roots can now float in the water. And that's exactly what they would do if they were growing in the ground. Now granted, our roots are suspended at the bottom of the glass, but you don't have to make the roots quite as long as this. You have the opportunity to make them a little shorter, as if those roots had not quite grown as much as they had. So you can see now how these roots would normally grow. These, of course, are curving a little because they just came out of a pot, but you can see from some of these just how much movement there is and how they might actually grow in the dirt in a natural setting. And that's all you really need to know about roots, other than to draw the front roots first and the back roots last. And you don't have to put every single root in because this is a lot of roots, but you still need to make it look like there are a lot. You can edit so that you're not drawing every single root.